things today. Fallen leaves. Said she hadn't heard the news, hadn't had a time to choose where to lose, but she believes. Gonna see the riverman, gonna tell him all I can about the plan for lilac time. If he tells me all he knows about the way his river flows and all that shows in summertime. Betty said she prayed today for the sky to blow away, maybe stay. She wasn't sure, for when she thought of summer rain calling for her mind again, lost the pain and stayed for more. Gonna see the riverman, gonna tell him all I can about the band. I'm feeling free. And if he tells me all he knows about the way his river flows, don't suppose it's meant for me. Oh, how they come and go, oh, how they come and go. Friend, from the tuning, it's standard. It's EADGBE. The difference being, by the way, this was just to talk about Riverman, really. Difference, an interesting thing about it, shall I say, is that there's an alternation in the bass where the tonic, which is the fifth string A, is not the main note, because the bass note is the fifth. So we have a second inversion of an A add 9 chord instead of, as in, for example, James Taylor. I've been wandering early or late from the New York City to the Golden Gate, and it don't look like I'll ever stop my wandering. Very much emphasis on the tonic, which is the bass. But in Riverman, we start with the fifth of the chord. So it's sort of backwards harmonically, instead of or something. The only thing to say, I just need to find the name of the person who messaged me. Oh, I can't do it at the moment. Oh, sorry, I'm on low battery. Let me just interrupt myself and get some plug and some power brick. But the one thing I would say, if you want to learn to play Riverman, I don't think this will reach. No, I've got to mess about with plugs. If you want to play Riverman convincingly, in other words, to your satisfaction, so that, as in the song, so that the music flows like the river, then the first thing I would say is that you need to master the song on the guitar, so that you can let it flow and be independent of your singing. That's the first thing. So, and the second thing, so here we are. Here I am, playing through the song. And I don't have to think too much about where I am. I'm not really concentrating much on the guitar. It's pretty much automatic. The second thing is that I don't think at any point did Nick Drake start the words on beat 1. So in other words, with the thumb. So when we play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, never comes in on 1. So you'll see that whenever I sing, it's not with the thumb. Betty came on, oh, sorry. Betty came on her way. Said she hadn't a word to say about things today. Fallen leaves. So at the very start of each phrase in 5, each bar, there's only the guitar part. There's only the bass on the guitar. So if I were to play just the bass line, Betty came on her way. So it's never with the thumb. So apart from that, you can phrase it however you want, but it's very, very loose. I don't think Nick Drake recorded the guitar part first and then the vocals. But it is easier to do it that way. But if you want to perform it for yourself and keep in that loose phrasing where you aren't following the beat, there's a lot of it's not rubato exactly, but it's certainly, well, it is in a way. It's certainly playing around with the beat. So you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1. So if you can tap 5 with one hand and sing along to the song, you'll have prepared yourself really well for the song. Betty came on her way, said she hadn't a word to say about things today. Fallen leaves. So that's as much of a tip I can give to you. Now, Rory Block, talking of Robert Johnson's songs, during one of the tapes, teaching tapes, she said, now this song by Robert Johnson, this latest one, I've said that you should learn the guitar part first, then learn the melody separately and then put them together. And then sometimes, she said, I've said they should learn to synchronize them so you know what word goes with what finger, or what syllable goes with what finger. She said, in this particular song, all I can say is struggle, struggle, struggle. And I think that's true for Riverman. You've got to get into being able to play that with little thoughts. That way you can put your phrasing in for the chords. One last thing, I don't think Nick Drake uses much staccato or any detached notes, but maybe he does, because I throw them in. And I just thought I'd mention that I don't play all light and smooth. I will sometimes play. You'll hear me releasing a chord to give some sound like this. Have a listen. Especially when we get to Betty came on her way. It's coming up. What did you have a thing to say? What? It's time I learnt the words. She had a word to say. Right. Betty came on her way. Said she had a word to say. See, on the F there, I don't play. When I get to the second stroke of the thumb there, I release the pressure on the left hand to get that little staccato part into the phrasing. So not, but. But mostly it's legato, it's smooth and sustained, so there aren't any gaps between the notes. I'm not lifting the fingers at all. If I did, this is what we get. Because I'm plucking open strings a lot of the time, these releases are not very prominent. But it's a beautiful contrast, so if you can throw those in as well. And the last thing I'd say about singing and playing Riverman is that do make sure that if you want to get close to the original, because it's so beautiful, that you want to get somewhere near it, even though it's going to be your own version, make sure that you strive to sustain the notes at the end of lines. Betty came on her way. Keep the note going until the chord changes. Compare this. Here's me not getting it right, singing way too short. Betty came on her way. And here's getting it much better, getting it righter. Betty came on her way. Said she had a word to say. Things today and fallen leaves. So that was it. Hi Kenneth, just got off work, glad I caught you. Thanks for all the groovy music. Well, thank you. Strings, what gauge of strings? These are 11 to 52s. The guitar is set up for 11s, but it's actually the neck has shifted a bit, and I need to take it to Richard Bainbridge because I'm not a guitar tech. And I know it only takes an Allen key. All I have to do is unscrew the plate here and find the truss rod here. And just remember which way to turn it. It's a double truss rod, so it isn't like it's going to hurt it to turn one way or the other. The neck will go that way or that way. Alan Marshall made this guitar. It's one of his. It's a Northworthy. But Alan's, I don't know how he is now, but chances are he won't remember because his mind has moved into a different place with, I think it's either dementia or it's Alzheimer's, but he, yeah, so, but anyway, I messaged him a while back. I rang him up, actually, I didn't message him, I rang him, and he said, all you got to do, John, is put your guitar down, put it down this way, look down the neck, take the plate off, unscrew it, just using a Phillips screwdriver, and then take your Allen key, which I think is 6mm, stick it in, and looking down the neck, you want to turn it, I think it's that way, to your left, he said. And he said, turn it about, you can comfortably turn it to maybe 10 minutes of turn or a quarter of a circle. He said, but be prepared for a cracking sound. It's not, the neck is not being damaged or anything, but it can just be a bit of a shock when you first hear it. It sounds like you're killing a guitar. You aren't. I took a slight pause and said, having said, oh, right, okay, yeah. Can I come and see you? And you do it. He said, yes. So there's a guy in Abergavenny called Richard Bayrick, who's a guitar maker. and Richard will do it and set the strings up properly for an 11s, but they're 11s to 52s, or as most people call them, 11s. Grandpa, if I don't play my guitar too often, should I loose the string up? No, it makes no difference. When calling me grandpa is a strange thing, but it's all right. Weird, but it's okay. The guitar is made so when the strings aren't on, you have the original guitar. You know, when it's first made, you don't make it so that you have to have strings on. The tension of the strings makes no difference. See, I used to think, I had this idea, I still have it, it's not true, but I have this idea that if you take off 3 of the strings, that the neck is going to twist, you know, when you're changing your strings, that maybe you should do 1 string at a time, which actually is what I do. But guitar makers, on the whole, I do believe, will put the guitar flat on their table with a sponge or a platform here to hold the neck. They will just maybe slacken the strings off very slightly with a screwdriver, with a motorized electric screwdriver with a winder on the head, so you can just go a couple of turns, yin all the way around. Probably not even that, and then get pliers or wire cutters and cut through the strings here, and then take them off to either side. It makes no difference. So don't worry about loosening the strings if you haven't played a guitar for ages. It's just that the strings will go rusty and smelly. If you played them before you put it up and left it alone, then it will have the finger acids and whatever you had on your fingers at the time, and they'll be sitting on the guitar. If you had any residue of food, it will be on the strings and it will decay, and it will make the guitar smell awful. So my recommendation is get that guitar down. If you don't know how to change the strings, or if you don't want to change them, you can't be bothered, which is often how I feel, you know, take it to a friend, or even better, to a guitar shop or to a guitar tech, and, you know, get playing the thing. What a difference new strings make. Anyway, that's a lot of talk tonight, I know. Let me say that's about all we have on how to play Riverman, other than maybe a couple of things, that it's a Nick Drake capoed it at 3. I think the sound of the bass was quite smooth, so I don't know if you noticed, if you go back to the start and listen to the song, you will find later in the song that I'm not using my nail, I'm using the flesh. I lean my thumb very slightly to the side and I pull it back a little above the string, and I'm using this part of my thumb, just the flesh part, and to emphasize the softness, compare and to emphasize it, move somewhere near to 12 frets above the capo, so that will be about here. If you go here, you get a lovely soft bell-like, sort of harp-like sound. But I find it difficult there because my nails are quite long and they tend to dig into the fingerboard, so I kind of compromise. So what I do, watch my thumb, I slide it away from my fingers so I get a nice soft tone. You can also emphasize that by contrast, by moving the hand away from the sound hole towards the bridge, past the sound hole. So if you start somewhere between the sound hole and the bridge, you'll get this kind of tone on an acoustic if you're playing with fingernails. Get a little bit nearer to the bridge. If I curve my fingers a little more, I can get more of a nail sound, just playing the string with nails. So we go from this sound to this one. So instead of, we get go as near to the bridge as I can. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Back in towards the hole back there. The sound I hear on the track, pretty much over the sound hole, I would say. and also thumb sticking out a bit further away from the hole. Whole hand up here. Nah, I don't like that. So about there for me. So there you go, that's a whole load of stuff, and for most people who are dropping in on this will think, what on earth is he talking about? Or they'll just think, oh, not interesting guitar lessons. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish by playing a couple of songs. Yeah, it's totally random, it came up on the next, on the list here. We can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. Say, we can go where we want to a place they would never find. We can act like we come from out of this world, leave the real one far behind. And we can dance or sing. We can go where we want to, night is young and so am I. We can dress real neat from our hats to our feet and surprise them with a victory cry. Say, we can act if we want to, if we don't, nobody will. You can act real rude and totally removed, and I can act like an imbecile. Say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking a chance. A safety dance, a safety dance, a safety dance, a safety dance. We can dance if we want to, we got all your life and mine. As long as we abuse it, never gonna lose it, everything gonna work out right. We can dance if we want to, we can leave your friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. Say, we can dance, everything's out of control. We can dance, doing it from pole to pole. We can dance, everybody look at your hands. We can dance, everybody's taking a chance. A safety dance, a safety dance, ha! So safety dance, a safety dance. What a great song. And I met somebody very recently on the TV set, and she said, yeah, you know the village where they dance through, that was where I lived in the video. That was my village, and I was the little girl in the video. Isn't that great? I'm going to finish on two songs, or three. Two that aren't mine, very famous songs, and the last one, almost as always, is going to be by me. And do remember, and thanks Kenneth for being so grateful. Do share this if you think that you've got a friend out there who could benefit from those little comments about Riverman. Do let them know, because it's all about being able to play the thing automatically with the fingers. If you can talk to a friend while you're playing the riff, then the chances are you can sing it really well. And don't try to stick to Nick Drake's phrasing, because his is very, very ad-libbed, like mine is when I sing it. But just don't play on beat one. Otherwise it will sound a bit, I was going to say clumsy or clunky, but a bit square, you know. The words have to flow like the song. Anyway, back into the songs. Here we go. take the street, light in your head and dead on your feet. Well, another crazy day. You'll drink the night away and forget about everything. This desert city, it feels so cold. It's got so many people, but it's got no soul. And it's taken you so long to find out you were wrong when you thought it had everything. You used to say that it was so easy. You used to think that it was so easy. But you're trying now. One more year and then you'll be happy. Just another year and then you'll be happy. But you're crying now. Way down the street there's a light in his place. He opens the door, he's got that look on his face, and he asks you waving. You tell him what you've seen and you talk about anything. He's got some dreams about buying some land. He's gonna give up the booze and the one night stands, and then he'll settle down to some quiet little town and forget about everything. But you know he'll never stop moving. You know he'll always keep moving, 'cause he's rolling, he's a rolling stone. Wake up smiling, it's a new morning. Sun is shining, it's a new morning. And you're going home. Is Gerry Rafferty from Paisley then? Because my fondest memories of being tiny were when anywhere between the ages of 5 and 15, I used to go up to see my Aunt May in Johnston. And remembering Paisley Station was a big part of that, knowing that Johnston was next stop. So I think that's really cool. Thanks for mentioning that. Great. Well, I was going to do another one by Get It Right Next Time. But time is running on and it's only meant to be a little short session. So I'll do one of my short ones, I Just Believe in You. If you like what you've heard, please do go to Bandcamp especially. I'm trying to save up £1,200 for 3 microphones to make the audio set up better for broadcast. I'm not bothering with the lighting at the moment. I've got a little improved lighting thing for multiple colours, but for now, a lot of people have said, don't worry about that. Just stick with the same old, dressing gown behind you in the corner of your bedroom kind of thing. But do improve the audio if you can, because that's what people appreciate. So yeah, that Bandcamp is where you can make an enormous contribution to that fund. Listen to my tracks, learn the songs, and ask for help if you need it. And of course, I'll gladly give it on how to play the things. If you want to change them, so, that will make me feel weird, but it's your, it's your right. Go for it. You could produce a better version. I don't believe you will, but what really? What do I know? And the last thing I will say, just before I sing I Just Believe in You, is that I still have to practice. It's great to see you, Rachel. Thanks for being here. I have to practice smiling because I never have. And these new teeth, I've got a bridge. So I've got my crown is here, and the new tooth, an absolutely new one, because the front tooth broke all the way to the root. So I've got a false tooth there, new tooth there. So there's a real one sandwiched between them, and the bridge goes all the way across, so it's cemented in. And this part of my face, because I don't smile much, is unused, and it just feels like you know, like I feel like a rabbit. You know, it's sticking into my gum all the time. I've got 2 more fillings to be done. Sorry for anybody who hates dentists and what the rest. I don't like the needles, but I know they're a very positive thing. You know, there's positive outcome. I need a couple of fillings to stop my gums receding, and then this. But I've got to practice smiling. Yeah. No, it looks wrong. Anyway, lots of love to you. And remember, if you want me to come play at your end, all you got to do is get a bunch of friends round to home. If your living room's big enough or your gardens will suit it, if you've got a gazebo or something. If you can work out how much money you can, it would cost for me to come to you and return. And if I can make a few quid by being there, you know, just invite me along. It can be the UK or it could be anywhere, or a local venue, or just you know, turn up in a coffee shop or a wine shop, preferably somewhere for me to lay my head, as they say in the songs. Don't know what song am I talking about? Songs, nowhere to lay my head. Don't know. Next album's almost out. As long as it rains, we'll be on it. In the pounding rain, I press my brain against the cold steel ring. I can hear a sad soft susurration. I can tell that it's a freight train about 7 miles away. I'm far, far, far from any station, and I've gotta get on, gotta get on, gotta get on. And I've gotta get on, got to get on. And I've gotta get on, gotta get on. And I've gotta get on, got to get on. It always stops in the middle of nowhere. That's how I get my rides. Even engine drivers need a break. In the car, another traveller, friend from older times, unburdened by the tracks she would take. We watch the slow revolving scenery. The train swims through the lands, massive and relentless and on time. The fields the colour of her hair, the dirt the same as mine. Staring at a blue and blazing sky, we were getting along, getting along, getting along, like those hearts. Getting along, getting along, and we were getting along, getting along, getting along. We wrote a song and sang along, then she had to go. I understood, no need to say goodbye. The train had slowed, the river flowed. She landed like a pro, her smile more than enough, more than the why. She had to get off, had to get off, had to get off. She had to get off, had to get off, had to get off. In the pounding rain, I press my brain against the cold steel rail. So that railroad song off the... Yes, thank you, Kenneth. There's a lot behind that song. There's a lot behind almost all of them. And some people would love to hear my explanations. But most people would say, please don't. Just leave it to us to figure out what it's about, or to add our own interpretation to it, which I think is very important. Thank you for all those lovely heart responses. Very rare to get them on YouTube. You get loads on TikTok broadcasts. And if I could just repeat myself, £1,200 plus needed if you've got a very rich friend or successful friend who's happy to invest in musicians. Well, then you know what I'm going to ask. look up my email address. Just if you type in John Air Guitar into Google, I should come up somewhere near the top. If not, my email address is john@airguitar.com. And going to Bandcamp is the best way to make a contribution. Or if you want to make a straight up PayPal kind of donation, you can go to look at my YouTube broadcasts. You'll see there's a couple of QR codes used as thumbnails. Yeah, I was going to say I haven't put anything up at the top in the description. I don't think so. Just a link to Bandcamp, but that's a quick way of doing it. One last thing, and let me show you what I've got. Tomorrow, I'm going to be learning to use this. It's a iZettle card reader. So I'm doing some busking over the weekend. I'm playing over the Brecon Jazz, and it's the same width as an iPhone. So I can use that. Hopefully I'll make a few quid from that. It will all add into that fund to make a better sound for you. And it's not totally selfless, that's for sure, because if I get a great sound coming back at me through the headphones, well, it's going to really improve the quality of the broadcast, because I'll be hearing it pretty much as you are. If you have a good set of monitors, speakers, then if you know the broadcast coming up, I recommend strongly that you listen to it on speakers. Or if you don't have a fancy hi-fi of any sort at all, use headphones via the laptop, or even just headphones for your phone. It'd be much better than the speakers, that's for sure. Just a thought there. Lots of love to you. This is an unusual time to be playing, I know, but the Brecon Jazz is coming up, so the chances of me playing on Friday or Saturday or Sunday night are pretty slim. Sunday night, that's possible, but the other nights I'm playing. I've got 4 gigs, 3 or 4 on Friday. I've got 1 official gig on Saturday, is it? But I'm going to be busking for quite a few hours, 2 or 3 hours in Brecon. And then Sunday, I've got 11 o'clock at Ardent. And then I'm free after that, so I can be doing more busking probably. Depends on the shop that's putting me up for the busking. Anyway, so yeah, thanks ever so much, Rachel. And as I say, everybody do invite me to your end, because I am incredibly short on gigs. Bizarrely, I was offered a gig through Encore to play the lute, which I do have one and I do play it. To play rock songs from 2000 to 2015 for an hour for a wedding. But it does mean getting rid of my nails and practicing for a couple of months, which is not a problem in itself, but I'd need a lot of money as an incentive to drop what I'm doing. So, and unfortunately, I was deliberating for so long. I let the gig, the offer expire, and Encore, the ability to get back and message people afterwards is it's difficult. It's supposed to be easy, but it isn't. Oh, thanks for subscribing. Do spread the word. Tell your friends. My subscription numbers kind of go like that. Some people do drop off thinking, "Oh, I'm not interested in that." They might have listened to a few songs and thought, it was okay at the time, but it's just not jolly enough for me. Who knows? But I'm very grateful for all of you who drop in. Imagine what would happen if each person who's a subscriber, if they all came in on a broadcast. John's getting cash together for his microphones kind of gig. You have any thoughts on that? Let me know. I don't know. I can't message everybody. I can't do a blanket email to everybody. I can't do it. Don't know how to do it, and I don't think you can anyway. But it was just a lovely thought. Goodbye.